Hello guys, Riosak here. And as you can see, I need a haircut and I need the shave. I can be quite lazy about that kind of stuff sometimes. But anyway, it's not what I'm going to be talking about, of course. I'm going to be talking about, maybe some of the reasons why I might not get another TPE doll. TPE standing for thermal plastic elastomer, obviously. At least for the people that don't know. And of course, some people might ask, why not? They are quite a bit cheaper than getting a silicone doll, especially when it comes to a real doll. Well, I mean, it just depends. I mean, sometimes, like, I've seen, like, some silicone dolls actually not that much more expensive than TPE dolls, actually, to be frank, recently. Now, some people have, of course, obviously gotten the cheaper, silicone dolls. But the only thing I would have to say about that is if you're getting a cheaper silicone doll, there's a chance that there's some contamination in it. Of course, meaning like they might have put something else into it to make the silicone cheaper. Because when you get silicone or say platinum silicone dolls per se from Real Doll, it is what it is. It is silicone. There's no contaminants in it, nothing. It is medical grade platinum silicone. And when you get cheaper ones, sometimes that's not the case with cheaper silicone dolls. And I'm not sure how hard it feels, but every time somebody always talks about, realism compared to TPE, I always think it's, and I don't know if it's just my opinion, but it always seems like even though even when I've shown how much more detail there is on that real doll versus the TPE doll that I used to have and so on. I mean, I've even talked about how just even minor details like if you touch the breast, it feels different. If you touch the knee on the real doll, it feels different. When you feel TPE material, I mean, yeah, it's soft, but it feels the same everywhere that you touch it. You touch it in the feet, the knee, the elbow, everywhere. The material all feels the same throughout. With the real doll, that's different. It's actually all the details around the knee, the elbows, everything feels different. Every part of the body, like it does on a real person, you know? And of course, even then, we'll probably sometimes not even watch the video and we'll state, hey, TPE is better, blah, blah. And then I'll have to put my remark down. I'm like, well, I mean, I guess I'll let that be your opinion then, but I think it's better, to be frank. And like I've stated, I mean, if you guys still think it's better for some reason, or you just prefer it for some reason, that's fine. But like, another thing that I've had to take into consideration, obviously, I would say the biggest difference between the two when it comes to experience is caring for it. I mean, my God, that doll, that real doll might be heavier than my TPE doll was. Like I'd say at least by 20 pounds. But man, she is so much easier to care for otherwise. She might be a bit harder to carry due to her weight, but man, she is so much easier to care for. I mean, Jesus, it's the difference is again, it's like night and day with care and how much easier it is to take care of that real doll versus that TPE doll that I got from WM Doll, basically. You don't have to do things like oiling her like you'd have to do every now and then with the TPE doll. You don't have to worry about nearly as many of the other things like, ink getting trapped in to the pores and everything, and then having to get the stains out. They're also more resistant to impressions, etc. They're pretty much are either more resistant to, or don't need the kind of care like a TPE doll does. Even though, yes, it is cheaper, and if for any reason you can't afford a real doll, I guess like you might as well get that. But even if you get a cheaper silicone doll, let me tell you, you're gonna notice a fucking difference. You are gonna notice a difference in care. You're going to go through a lot less trouble with doll care with a silicone doll, just period. Either that, or you could do what I would maybe sometimes do it, and just get a fabric glove doll. I mean, the fabric glove dolls have actually also been getting kind of better, and they're very reasonably priced. They're the easiest to care for out of all of the main, I would say, materials. Is the fabric ones. They're just so fucking easy to care for, and they're good to put in your bed with you, even when you're sleeping at night, etc. Like they're just really good for that. So they're very lovable, even though they might not look as realistic, to say the least. Ah, my fucking hair, man. I need to fucking cut it. Let me tell you. But yeah, I mean, if you, again, you can post your opinions how you want to, and that's fine with me. I'll let you have your opinion. You know, I'm not going to yell at you or nothing. But man, I'm just so surprised that so many people, again, just like with PC, I'm surprised more people aren't going to PC versus console. And it's the same with the TPE. You know, there's silicone dolls that aren't much more expensive than the TPE dolls now. And so I'm surprised that there aren't more people that are just, you know, doing silicone or just doing fabric, like I've stated before. And as far as realistic, how it feels, like I've stated in my TPE versus silicone 2, it's not that if I think, you know, it feels in a sense more realistic. I mean, with real doll, it does, in my opinion. But when it comes to, I would say, a cheaper version of it, I would say it just feels realistic differently, is what I think. I mean, that's just my opinion. And as I've stated before, when I got my real doll and she came in, I just stopped using my TPE doll, to be frank. It was just a much better experience. Like, even though also she was heavier than the TPE doll was, she was still easier to use in bed. Like, she seriously was. I mean, she is much easier to roll around and everything if you have to. Of course, you still have to be careful with the hands and stuff and all that, but it's a much easier experience and fluid experience and natural, to be frank with you. And if you've seriously never experienced like a real doll at all, I mean, one thing you can do is just get a section of the real doll instead of getting the whole doll. They're still maybe a bit pricey, but you know, you could get something for like probably $500-$600 just for a section of a real doll, and just see how it feels before you actually get, you know, the actual doll. That's if you're thinking about getting one. But if you even do something like that, you will see what I mean. I mean, you could probably just order the feet if you wanted to, if you're just a foot fetish guy, of course. But I think you get my points. You know, I just don't know what else to say. And so I'll just stop the video. But of course, if you guys have more questions, comments, etc., you can just leave a comment or a question down below, and I'll just see you guys in the next video. Bye.